What's up, y'all? It's your boy BZ, and um, I don't really know why I'm making this video, but I just kind of felt guided to get on here. Taking a break, I was doing the all signs reading. We're gonna finish that up. Had to delete some stuff off the phone, but um, yeah, I feel kind of got to come on here. Um, I hope everyone out there is doing okay around this time. I know a lot of things are changing, and a lot of things are, shifting. Not only just the planet, but well, not even just us, but the planets as well. I think there's a lot of things in history and time that is moving a little beyond what we've known, and that's not to really be scared of anything, but that's honestly to kind of just be more open and aware of how there's always going to be changes. Like, you think about how far we've come in history, right? Where, like, before they had electricity, then we had electricity, and all these factors that have come into a point now where we don't even look at the creation. We don't go back to the source of things. We just live, and we just live off things. We just take it all, but we don't really take a chance to stop and appreciate how everything came together. And I feel like, a lot of things that are going to be falling, or a lot of things that are going to be ending, people are going to be having more of a realization of, like, kind of going back to the start and the creation of things, or like the start of, like, when things started, or really looking more at looking at things from a very, very different perspective. Not as how they did before, or tried before, where it was more just looking over things. It's like you're gonna have to pay attention to the car alarm going off, right? Because it's going off for a reason. Versus before, we would just have to just assume, oh, well, it just would be something else. Um, but yeah, I just feel like, right now is the time for us to definitely be um, heavy reflection period, heavy clearing, heavy, um, getting out of our system, or getting out things that don't really resonate anymore, that don't really feel like it belongs with us or in us. And that could go for many, many things. It doesn't have to just stick to, like, people. It could also deal with certain things that you have in your life, whether it's items, food. It could go for anything. If there are certain things that you kind of see that are not really, like, giving you your best, or like putting you at your best, or making you feel your best, you got to definitely eliminate it. And you can't be scared to eliminate it either, because it's easy to get in that fear and just be like, well, do I really have to get rid of this? Do I really have to, like, get over this, or clear this, or move? And a lot of times you're gonna see, like, the more you stay stuck, or the more you stay attached to certain things, like, you don't really move forward. You don't really progress. You just kind of stay in that same circle, or that same it's kind of like a box. You just stay in that same box, or that same circle for so long. But I feel like a lot of people are getting to a point where, they're having realizations of, like, how they don't want to feel, or how they don't want to continue doing something, particular things, because it's not aiding them anymore. Or, like, like, it's kind of like, as at one point where it may have gave you a um, some type of satisfaction to do something, or handle, or I don't even. I wasn't trying to say handle. I was gonna say, like, take on, but I guess handle is the thing that need to be said. Like, the possible way you handle certain things, situations. I don't know, but you're definitely getting to a point where you're realizing, certain things have to shift and change for you to experience the best. Certain things have to be, like, reset for you to trust, what is actually best for you. Because maybe you've only seen the best come at the worst, or the best come at. It's kind of just kind of remembering that energy of, like, what can actually happen for you when you are aligned, or when you are doing the right thing, or when you are moving in the right direction. Like, what can truly happen, what can truly be. And I feel like a lot of people right now are, having this experience of, like, seeing things for what they really are, and or having these experiences that challenge the way that they may have thought, or the way that they may, like I said, handle things. And then, like I said, it doesn't have to always be with people, because maybe it may be with, like, certain mental situations, or certain personal dynamics that we have with ourselves. which is this is a big heavy key moment of a lot of the self work that we're doing. A lot of that. That's why I said the reflecting. We're kind of having a lot of more one on one time with ourselves to look at things for what they are versus then being so caught up in being around other people, getting the approval of others, that validation. We're now at a point where it's kind of like us with us, me versus me. And so you're kind of literally looking at the way that you handle situations, you take on situations, you deal with it, and that can mean all the same thing, but maybe to different people it may be perceived as something else. And that takes it another step further of realizing that like maybe the way that you see something isn't the way someone else sees something, right? And that's where you go into the perspective, right? And you dive into your perspective of how you see it, how someone else could see it, and that's that being open. A lot of times we're not being open to seeing those sides of things. We're just only being closed off because it's easy to just see it from our eyes, right? Because that's the first perspective, our eyes, right? But when it comes to dealing with other people, you have to be able to move from beyond just what you see and then kind of put yourself in other people's shoes, but not in a sense where it's like you take on what they're going through, but just more mystically, you kind of be able to get a different perspective. It's like if you was in somebody else's shoes and you saw from their perspective what, then you would be able to kind of get a better understanding of like where they're at or, how they deal or, and it kind of gives you more of a perspective, but it's kind of like that, but with you though, you're seeing yourself from an outer perspective. You're seeing yourself from an inner then outer perspective of how you may be perceived or how you perceive what you perceive yourself to be. And I think that that's a key moment right now that, a lot of people are kind of having like, moments of, I was about to say heart to heart moments, but it's kind of like heart to heart with they self, heart to heart with self. I recently even had a moment where I had to go through a period of reflection that allowed me to kind of see how there was just certain things that I may have not really been doing my 100% best at, but I had to get to a point to realize that I wasn't. I had to get to that point. I had to go through experiences that put me in a position to realize, like, yeah, you may be doing this and going down that path, but are you really, doing it the way it's supposed to be done? Are you really handling it the way you are supposed to handle it? And that's where you kind of see that truth. You kind of see it, and it's easy for your mind to kind of be like, well, it's a lot of times where the mind is always trying to logically piece it together, trying to always put it to make it make sense to reason why maybe us being a certain way is logically correct, right? It's kind of like when people be like, well, my past made me like this. It's like, right, but are you still letting your past control who you are now? Or are you being grateful for the fact that you have had those experiences to allow you to see that, okay, I'll never be at that point again? You see what I'm saying? So it's two different perspectives that, you may see it and you have to move forward through it. And you have to really be able to surrender to the only one to see it from that one perspective, And that's that perspective of the ego. Because that's the thing. The soul is going to really be honest with you. The soul is going to like confront you, and the soul is going to always come in when your ego is being too much. Your soul is going to always come in and like checkmate the ego, and it may not happen the way you think. You may think like, oh, it's going to happen through another person, or it's going to happen through something just happening, but sometimes it's real life where it's you and you. It's in those moments that you're reflecting, or it's in those moments that you're in your thought, or when you're trying to numb, that your soul comes through, and it's kind of your higher self. Higher self and soul is attached to the same thing, a top view, but your higher self comes through and it kind of checkmates how your ego's been acting, right? And it puts it into a whole 180 perspective for you, and then you kind of start to be able to see more like, wow, like, this is how I've been handling, or this is how I've been dealing, or this is how I've been processing, or this is how I've been moving, or, this is just my way I've been dealing. And it's going to get you to a point where you realize, like, but has that helped me, or has that kind of just kept me at the same place, or has it kept me in the same cycle? And that's where you really just start to see where you are truly at, and, is where I'm at really good, or is it just okay? And the okay is more like when you get more in the comfortable energies of like, well, I do this and I do that, it works, right? But it may not really work, but it's that comfortability that allows you to not even push further to get better. Um, and then on the other perspective, it's like when you're not doing it at all, it's like that moment where you really had a reflection of like, but like, I said I wanted this. I said I wanted this to change. I said I want this to be different. But it's like, what did I do differently to like get this? And you're like, nothing. It's like, and so then it's kind of like that moment, like you have no one but to be mad at. But you have no one to be mad at but yourself. And I think those moments are okay because, like I said, those moments are the moments that we really see how we're handling things or how we're like moving through life. You know, and we kind of really, we really get down to the real of it. And we're not sugarcoating it. We're not being in denial. We're not trying to just numb it just to, not be the problem. Because that's the thing. Like, everybody at some point is going to be a problem in their own life. It doesn't have to be a problem with somebody else. We always think about it like that. But it's the problem that we are with ourselves, right? The where we are going wrong with ourselves. And we got to confront that. We can't keep trying to just let it slide by and just make excuses for how we behave and how we act. Even me, I remember when I had times where I had to literally, like, I would literally have so many, like, I would act a certain way or like treat people a certain way, and then I would have like that reflection moment on the back end of like, damn, but like, why did I handle it like that? What was the like, and I had to realize that like it was somewhat because of how I thought that that's how I needed to handle it, or that was how I, because of my hurt or because of my past, that I just need to keep. That's what works, right? Or that was what I thought worked. But it's about getting to a point of a balance of what it's okay to have your boundaries. It's okay to have your no's and your, how you deal with things. But when you start seeing that it comes from more of just a ego way of dealing with it, then that's where you kind of start seeing like, okay, yeah, but I'm just doing it just because I feel like I can, you know. And then on the back end, it kind of shows up, and it's like, dang, I probably shouldn't have. Yeah, I probably shouldn't do it like that. But we make those mistakes to learn from it, and that's the thing. You got to reflect on what are you learning, what are you not learning. If you are making the same choice and decisions, like why did you make that same choice? What was it about that same choice that was like safe? What was it about that same choice that was comfortable? What was it about not stepping into the unknown? And that's where you kind of start to see like, dang, but it's supposed to be like that. That's where you start doing the shadow work. That's where you start really getting down to the nitty gritty of, how you do, how you handle, how you work, how you move, how you do you. And it's a really beautiful experience to go through. And at first, it's not so beautiful because, it's a part of yourself that wants to just beat yourself up. But it's not about beating yourself up. It's just about understanding where you are, and then like, where you, and then looking forward to like how you can get better at that. That's why it's called self development. That's why it's called self work. Doing the work on yourself, doing that healing on yourself to be better. To not let those past things or you know situations or whatever. Don't, like I said, don't always have to be people, because sometimes it could be you with you. Moving from that space and then moving into a new space that allows you to courageously be more of who you truly desire to be. And then if you don't even know who you have a desire to be, that's okay, right? Because it's still a part of you that sees where you are, but then sees, because that's the thing. It's like you think about people that inspire you to be better, right? Or you think about when you see certain people, you like, it's not like saying you want to be like them, but it's just more like they motivate you to be a better person, or they motivate you to be, I don't want to say like how another person is, but that's kind of what I'm getting. Like, they just inspire you to be, just like them. And I feel like a lot of times, like, we have these thoughts of like, damn, but I don't think I'll ever get there because I'll just always be the same. But that's that limited belief, because it's how you talk to yourself. It's how you say yourself. So you telling yourself, yeah, you're going to be the same. So hell yeah, you're going to be the same, right? Because you're not seeing beyond that. You only seeing it from that surface level of, yeah, well, I'll be the same. Like, I just keep being this way. Because it's that feeling that you can't change. It's that feeling that you can't be better. So you just settle. Like I said, and that's why I said, but that's you had those moments like, but why am I so comfortable with just being like this? Why am I so comfortable with just this is how I am, you know? And that's where you'll really start to see that it's your own way of how you deal with yourself, you know? And like I said, that's okay. But it's like you have to be real with yourself and look, but it's like, but is this really helping me or is this like keeping me kind of stuck? You know, and that's that moment that it kind of hits and you really kind of see it for versus then trying to, like I said, be in denial and, you know, put the blame everywhere else but yourself. And it's not saying that you blame people because, like I said, it's not about, because what I'm talking about, it's really not a, yeah, it could possibly be with how you handle and deal with that, but we strictly talking about self. This is more of like one-on-one, like you with you. But I'll talk about it in the perspective of where it will be where you would have to understand you with you and how you with other people. You see what I'm saying? So let's ground it down. But the main message I want you guys to just, you know, look at within this video is it's okay to not be at your best. It's okay to not be, you know, or not even know who you want to be. But that's the part of going down that journey of self-discovery, that part of really, you know, doing the inner work, you know, doing that self-work. It's about truly finding who you are versus just being, like I said, who you just become based off of what you've been through, you know? That's what I said, it's the difference from, oh, well, it made me like this versus I'm grateful that I went through this, and that because it allowed me to become this person, you know? And, you know, that's just those perspectives, but, you know? So I just felt kind of glad to hop on here and kind of talk about that. I hope that it helps somebody out there get a better understanding of like how to, you know, just become more in control of who you want to become. You know, come into more control of the things that you want to bring into your reality, the things that you want to get better at, or the things that you want to work on with yourself. You know. So I thank y'all for tuning in and watching this video. If you made it to the end, like that means that you actually care. So just keep working, doing the work, and you'll see the changes. So it's your boy BZ, the Dream Visionist, and I'm out.